this is a message sort of for agency owners because I am wondering what you think about the whole idea of riches in the niches here, but it's kind of the American pronunciation for niches, but the whole kind of slogan of there's riches in the niches, but also taking into account the caveat of there's riches in niches, but there's also growing pains for a lot of these niches. And what I mean by that is that there's a lot of businesses that are in various stages of growth where the cost of growth exceeds often the cost of investment. So, in layman's terms, what I mean by that is if you're a marketing agency owner that finds a profitable niche and it's a business doing like, I don't know, 300k a month top line and they've got 40k profit. So you go to them and say, we want to charge like 5k a month retainer, we're going to do like Facebook ads or Google ads for you. So you do that. But then they're at a stage where in order for them to grow from like 3 or 400k a month to 6 or 700k a month or 5 or 600k a month, in order for them to do 50 or 100% growth, they need to incur some growing pains. They need to, you know, I don't know, change the plan of their accounting software, or they need to upgrade systems, or they need to do various things which now are going to cost more. So if all of their costs go up by like 20% or 15% or 30%, they now need to make that extra so that the investment is actually the growth that they're expecting. Like if it's going to be 20% growth for them, is it actually 20% growth? Because 20% growth, let's say, on the top line doesn't mean 20% growth net profit. And that's really what we want to be doing for business owners, is we don't want to just be adding 20% to their revenue. We want to be adding like 20% to their net profit because that's huge. Like another big one that Alex Hormozy mentioned, $100 million offers acquisition.com guy, the big founder of that, he mentioned that like one of the craziest ways to increase your bottom line is literally add the card processing fee or the transaction fee that you incur, just add that to your price, because most people that are buying from you will happily pay you 1.5 or 2%. They won't even notice really, and for you it's a massive bonus to the bottom line because you're missing out on loads of 1.5, loads of micro percentage points. So with regards to trying to grow the business, I'm just wondering how many agency owners out there, because I've barely started this journey. Like I've had a few clients over the course of the last year or so, but I've not really had a big agency yet. I'm growing one now, I'm starting one now, I'm doing cold calls every day, I'm doing active outreach, but I've not been at the stage where I have multiple big clients or multiple small clients or big any size really. So I'm asking kind of based on what I've seen, based on what I've learned over the past year of working with a few smaller clients, kind of I've not really experienced the any client where they've had growing pains. They've had that kind of pain where they're at a stage where they are growing and you've helped them grow, but now they've just increased their costs, and actually after all of the new costs they may be breaking even, maybe even losing money. And so you really like I'm thinking about that already, and I'm not even working with any big clients yet. So I'm wondering, for any agency owners out there, is that something you take into consideration? Because I certainly hope so, because I'm not even there yet and I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it with my own agency and the cost of growing. The fact that like let's say between month 2 and month 3, or between like week 7 and week 8, I have like 25k profit and like 50k or like 40k revenue, top line turnover. British turnover is revenue, same thing. So like great, 25k profit from week 7, but I've now got to invest 18 to 22k in a whole team. So I'm back to like 3k profit. But that 20k is going to then allow me to then grow by an extra 70k, and so on and so forth. So the cost of growth is a factor that is annoying, and you have to really work it out with the business owners and with your own business. But you need to be taken into account because it is always going to be there, and it's something that I'm basically like your next 5 moves by you got to really take it into account, Patrick Bet David, your next 5 moves, because you've really got to take this stuff into account, because like it's something that I'm already thinking about before I'm even there. And yeah, it's the dopamine hit of checking it before it's even a factor, but I'm glad I'm already aware of that. And I just wonder, like, for the sake of people that already are there, or have been there before with bigger clients, where they've been at this stage where they can afford they've made a load of money over the past 6 months or 3 months, and they can afford to invest 10k in a service fee with you and do Facebook ads and spend 50k a month on Facebook ads, 100k a month on Facebook ads. But the new costs the money they're going to make is maybe an extra 30% on the new year. But are they going to have an extra 25 or 30% in costs? Because now they've got to upgrade certain systems, certain packages. Now they've got to increase the volume of their, like, I mean, to be fair, if it's like maybe an online store or something, they have lower rates from higher volumes of sales. But there's always going to be cases where the costs increase naturally because you're growing. And there's often stages where certain points, certain steps in growth in revenue lead to a smaller net profit and lower net margin purely because you're growing, and it's a specifically bad point in the stages of growth. So that's a question for agency owners out there. Have you noticed this? Have you felt this? Because it's a real thing. It's just whether or not you've taken it into account with the clients you're also working with, and whether they've noticed it themselves as well, because it could be a stage that they don't actually take into account themselves either, because it can be like hidden costs, like, oh, they've suddenly made an extra 20% in the past 6 months, but actually, have they incurred any other costs also associated with your service, or any other hidden costs in expenses now that actually lower that top line revenue and also kind of make the net profits now even worse than before in some cases? But yeah, that's a question I have for any agency owners. Please kind of leave your thoughts if you're an agency owner or in any situation like that, because I'd love to hear your thoughts and figure out more. But there we go. Little 7-minute video, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. See you next time.